radiallahu anhu قال. The hadith tonight in the collection of Imam Bukhari, it's narrated to us by Hypocrisy. Not really a hadith, it's similar to the one I narrated maybe a couple of days ago or maybe a week ago, where it's something Hypocrisy radiallahu anhu said. And when it comes to issues of hypocrisy, which is the theme that we're talking about for the next maybe couple of maybe next week or so, he is an authority on the matter because he is someone who the Prophet ﷺ entrusted with the names of the hypocrites, and he understood the concept very clearly, and he, to the Sahaba, was an authority on the matter. So for us, it can only be seen to be similar. So what he said, radiallahu anhu, in this narration that we have, this authentic narration, is what he said. قال إن المنافقين اليوم شر منهم على عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كانوا يومئذ يسرون واليوم يجهرون. So he said, radiallahu anhu, he says, the hypocrites today are much worse than they were at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because back then they kept a lot of things hidden. They kept it under the lid. And today they're coming out and they're saying and they're doing things and they're making it public. So Hypocrisy, this is his observation. I think it's very much worthy narration to contemplate for a moment. See, Hypocrisy, what he saw from the hypocrites during the time of the Prophet ﷺ's life, he saw that they were hypocrites because he knew their names. The Prophet ﷺ pointed them out to him. But they kept it under lid. They didn't go around showing things off. They didn't go normalizing behaviors that were incorrect. They didn't brag about these behaviors. They didn't do that. They kept a lid on it. They kept it quiet. They kept it secret. But once the Prophet ﷺ passed away, maybe a certain degree of reverence kind of fell off. So they didn't feel the need to do that anymore. So they would come out and just publicly brag or talk about the fact that they don't do this or don't do that anymore. And this is an observation of Hypocrisy himself, that this is something that bothered him. It's a problem. And this is an important point that I think is worth sharing with you. It's one thing to be sinful. It's another thing to go around talking about it as if it's not a sin. They're not the same thing at all. Like, they're so different. It's like day and night. It's not morning and noon. It's day and night. We all sin by nature. We all fall into sin. Some of us get stuck with the sin for a long time, chronically. They can't get rid of it. They try to do tawbah time and time again, and they struggle with it, and they just can't get rid of it. As long as the person does not brag about it, does not normalize it, doesn't go around telling people that they do it, asking others to validate them for doing it and saying it's okay, then they're still safe. The moment they come out and they start talking about it and making it as if it's all right to do it and there's no problem with it whatsoever, that's when they're putting themselves at danger, and that's when you start ruining a community. That's when you start actually ruining a society. That's where you are now a threat to the society itself, once you start behaving in that manner. And Hypocrisy radiallahu anhu, this is his observation, and I like it because he radiallahu anhu was very careful regarding the information he was given by the Prophet ﷺ and what he was going to do with it. He was very careful. He didn't play around with it. So he just made this observation that it's weird now. They used to not brag about the stuff they did. Now they're walking around acting like it's normal. It's normal to betray. It's normal to gossip. It's normal to miss prayers. It's normal to drink. It's normal to whatever it is that they're doing. They're acting as if it's not a problem to do these things on a daily basis. Be very careful. In Islam, we're not allowed to shame a sinner. That's not what we're supposed to do. But you, as a human being who sins, which is every human being that has ever lived and will ever live, be very careful in what information you share and what you ask from those around you regarding the struggle that you're going through. Ask for support, ask for aid, ask for help, ask for assistance, but don't go around talking about things as if they're normal, just because you can't get rid of it. Just because you can't stop doing something wrong doesn't mean that we all have to say, nope, it's okay now, it's all right. Since you can't seem to stop it, then all right, we'll just forget about this whole value system that we have. We'll just wipe it and just change the value system so that now what you're doing is no longer a problem. That's not how this works. And that's the fear, that's the problem with the hypocrites back then. And he's saying this radiallahu anhu when? Like literally half a decade after the Prophet ﷺ died, not 1400 and something years later. So we are much more at danger of something like this. It's already happened, obviously, but we can at least make sure that we don't participate in it. And I think that's something worthy of contemplation. I'll end with that. يروي الإمام البخاري في صحيحه عن حذيفة بن اليمان رضي الله عنه قال إن المنافقين اليوم شر منهم على عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، فقد كانوا يومئذ يسرون واليوم يجهرون. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك، أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت، أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك